I've got to admit, if Hennard was still alive, if I saw him on the street, I think I would have to try and rip his face off.
Black watched the gunman shoot 2 more people before Hennard killed himself. 10 minutes of terror finally ended, but the brutality of it all was just beginning to be revealed.
I've been shot!
Give me the information now.
I have a real emergency.
I don't know how many rounds he had made, but he was coming back towards our end, and I knew enough to know that there was no one around me alive except me. I was the nearest shot.
The entire Killeen community joined in mourning, reached out to the hurting, and buried the dead.
He was shooting from one side to the other, and then when I got up, I never did look back because I knew if I did, he'd probably really shoot me then. So when I went out the window, like I said, I cut my foot. Never did know it until like the bled to death before they got a tourniquet on it, but I didn't even know I'd cut it. I guess I was in shock or something.
I was there with my parents, and making a long story short, my father went at the guy because he felt like he had to do something, and he was shot in the chest. I was able to get out. My mother stayed with my father, and eventually Hennard got around to her. And so my brother and sister and I lost both our parents that day.
The man jumped out of his truck and started firing his weapon.
He kept on going and going. He just kept shooting and shooting, and it wasn't going to stop.
Patricia Carney, Colonel Kitty Davis, Al Gracia.
It was the last roll call, a final tribute to the 23 people who died in the Luby's massacre. Friends and relatives remembered their loved ones in the simple but symbolic ceremony. Survivors of that horrible day are here to remember and then hopefully get on with their lives.
Some survivors and relatives of victims say they're observing the anniversary of the massacre by deliberately not observing it, by treating it like any other day and avoiding all ceremonies. Some say they're even leaving town.
Well, the only person I've heard say anything negative is the mayor of Killeen. The mayor has not called or talked to one of the victims since the massacre. They're upset about it. I don't know where he gets the right to speak for the victims. The victims came forward voluntarily, 40 plus of them, to talk to me, and they should be able to speak for themselves. I don't take the liberty to speak for them. I don't think the mayor should either.
Several weeks ago, the officials of America's Most Wanted called me that they were going to do a reenactment of the Luby's tragedy on October the 16th of last year, and my first immediate response was probably still the response I would have, which would be that these families of these victims and those who were in Luby's and people in general in town, I think really want to allow this memory to lapse and go on about their lifestyles. And I think a reenactment would refresh the memories of some that maybe doesn't need to be refreshed. I can't see how the reenactment could be other than exploitive. I feel like they serve a very good purpose in their programming, but it's been a mystery to me as to why they wanted to do, why that particular type of program wanted to do this.
I'd rather not be here, but I think it's a nice gesture for those that were fatally injured inside.
And I hope that this will be the end of it. But after they have this memorial service today, they'll just leave it alone.
Military towns always celebrate Memorial Day in a big way, but Killeen residents say this is no longer just another holiday, but a day that will live in their hearts forever. In Killeen, I'm Tangi Patton, reporting for the NBC Texas News Network.